Hi guys, it's Christine Bertram, and I am coming to you live from the Hive in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And we have a very exciting class coming up for you tonight that is called Ink, Paper, Scissors, featuring the Beauty of Friendship bundle. I always call it the Beauty of the Earth because that's the name of the suite. But oh my goodness, these cards are so beautiful. They're all nature-esque, and I guess you could say Tyler-esque. He gave these good grades. Tyler definitely likes his naturey cards, so that's exciting. It's not exciting, but it is exciting. These cards have been on the board for a little while, and I'm sad to see them go off of the board to make way for the symbols of fortune, but that's how it goes. So let's see if we can make sure I am live and in the Hive watching your comments come through. That's always my first goal, is to get that going. Okay, I see Joan Gordon is here and Deborah Woodby. Woohoo. Okay, so that means that we're live. Hi, Sue Somerville. Now I just want to get the video. There it is. It always takes a second for it to register and refresh. Hi, Carla Lake. And comments are coming through. Life is good. Let's just hope my phone doesn't die. I was walking out here. Hi, Betty Pyle. Hi, Amy Ponce. Hi, Deanne and Linda and Cindy and Kathy King. Woohoo. I was walking out here carrying my water, and it splashed over my arm and into my lap as I was walking. So not my lap, but my hip area. And lo and behold, my cell phone was there, and so it wasn't exciting to get water in the charging port. So, hi, Chris Dudarenki. Hi, Sandy Wicklander. Hi, Linda Hunt. Hi, Sandy. So, we have a very exciting class called Ink, Paper, Scissors, and just to show off what's coming up for next month's Ink, Paper, Scissors, you guys, you're going to want to get signed up for these early. I have none left for tonight, you guys. I was planning for 40. Hi, Karen Stake. Hi, Randy. I was planning for 40, and I added 4 more, and then I added 4 more, so I ended up with 48. Hi, Barbara Moynan. I ended up with 48, and I sold my last one yesterday already, you guys. So there is none left for the Beauty of the Earth. The PDF, hi, Ann Bellinger. The PDF will be in the online store sometime tomorrow or by Saturday. A bag of rice, yes. So, you know what I did? I took my heat tool, and I didn't get it too hot. Hi, Elaine Reback. The swap cards are ready for you to pick up now. I took my heat tool over there. So I kind of like hit it against my arm to like try to shake out anything. And then I took my heat tool to it really quick just to kind of like dry it out. But I tried not to get it too hot. So I'm going to do that afterwards if I'm still having issues. Hi, Jean Terwilliger. Hi, Mary. So, yes, so Elaine Reback, I worked on and anybody else that's part of the customer swap group, I laid out all the cards just right before class here, and so they're all ready for porch pickup, or I plan to get them in the mail by tomorrow. So yay! Hi, Sharon Davis. Hi, Sharon Rush. So we were talking about the Ink, Paper, Scissors for tonight is already sold out, 48 gone. Woohoo! I always like it. My mom likes it when there's none left. And I will show you really quick here what's coming up for next month. So if you're not already on the list, please let me know if you'd like to be. Hi, Anna Rebidu. I'm planning for 48. I think well over half are already taken. I think somewhere in the half, like 24 are already accounted for. So they're fun. They're great. They're featuring the symbols of fortune. So you guys, this is next month's Ink, Paper, Scissors, okay? So I completely cased Chris's cards. She's like, go for it. This was her favorite suite, and she had made such beautiful cards. So I just changed up a few things on some of the cards, but this was, hi, Jeannie Parker. Hi, Deb Norman. This was one of her very precious cards. It's like a lantern card, you guys. So you would put like a tea light right here. And so everything will be basically the same, except for you guys just need to figure out, it was okay, Elaine. It was a little confusing, but not too bad. You guys will just need to come up with something for this little white piece. Otherwise, everything is going to be die cut, compliments of Anna Rabideau, and I did all the embossing already. And so this one, you guys, all you need to do is add a tea light when you give it to somebody. So super cool card. It's like a lantern card, and it's a nice little fun fold. The next one also is a fun fold. It's like a pocket card, and so this little guy pops out. If you don't have the crane that's part of that set, you'll get for this class, I generally give you a piece of white paper that's big enough to accommodate what needs to get stamped, and then you would either die cut it or cut it out yourself. I don't have these pieces pre-die cut. They're pretty specific usually. So if there's stamping involved, then in this case, you'll get a white piece of paper. And so this one then, a little bit of gold embossing on this one. It's hard to read in the video, but a little bit of gold embossing on this one. But again, you'd have to stamp the little crane. And this one did a double matte. Oh, I can tell there's a little goo on here. So we gotta get the little goo off of there. There, perfect. They're so elegant, Kathy. You are so correct. The silvers and the golds, and then when you put that little double matting in the inside, I thought of Diane Bogenhagen when I did the little bit of double matting. Julie Bierschbach also loves that double matting. So I thought of them when I double matted this one. And then this one is actually a casing from Mystery Card Night, you guys. We cased a card. So this one too, you need to have some sort of floral focal image here, okay? And then this opens like this. Oh, yeah, don't forget about the 2 cranes cut from the lantern card. But those are die cut already. So Anna will have die cut those for you. So because this one doesn't require any stamping. So one of the perks, you guys, is Anna already has this gray piece. I'm pretty sure, Anna, you've probably done it if you're dropping everything off tomorrow. Anna will have cut all that out for you. And I think I don't have a purpose to keep 96 gray cranes. So I plan to just put them in your kits, you guys, and then you can figure out what you want to do with some gray cranes. But these cards are so elegant. I do not hesitate. You know, I had planned for 40. Judy Immel said to me, you should do 48. I planned for 40 and Judy Immel said, you should do 48. I don't know if I said that correct. That's what I meant to say. So they're super elegant. You get a whole roll of the green ribbon, the soft succulent polished dots, and then a quarter pack of the designer paper. So this, you guys, is basically coming up a month from now. So this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, May 26th. Sorry, I gotta look at the calendar, not flipped yet. May 26th of next month. So just to get you guys a little bit excited, yes, Elaine, you're already signed up for it. It's on my list. I don't think you've paid. If I have to remember off the top of my head, I don't think you've paid yet. That is correct. Oh, thanks for sharing, Jeannie Parker. I appreciate that. Hi, Mitzi Stanley. Hi, Donna Simmer. So everybody, thank you so much for sharing this video. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to make these cards with you. I think this is going to be a really good online class for you guys that are watching. Hi, Julie Bierschbach. For those of you that are going to be catching the replay later, thank you for watching the replay. I really appreciate it. Just know I do go back, and the 4 cards that we're going to be making tonight will be prizes in the future. So how you can win a card is by commenting, and then what I randomly do is scroll through the comments and stop and see where it lands on, and whoever's name it is, that's how I pick the winners for the cards. Hi, Karen Wetstein and Patsy Roberts. So sharing is awesome, you guys, and when you comment that you shared it, that's another comment that helps you get in for me seeing the comments. Hi, Linda Hall. So I'm going to do roll call really quick, and we're going to get the party started. Donna Simmer, did I get your address? Did you email it to me? Did you text it, or did you Facebook message it to me? I haven't looked at my Cards by Christine Facebook messages in a little while. They don't automatically pop up as notifications. So, Donna, it depends how you sent it to me. I'm thinking yes, but I think you want a card, and I thought I sent it out, but I can't think of like if that's actually correct. Usually pretty good memory, but sometimes when you guys know how that is. When you get asked something on the spot, you should know it, but then you can't remember it. So, Donna, we'll have to check, okay? And otherwise, just send me, I've got it. And I have a card over here for you. You're right. Paula Rice was the other gal that won too. And I usually do shippings, like you guys, I don't ship every day of the week. What I generally do is on Thursdays or Friday, once cards are kitted up, that's when my mailings get done. So I don't generally mail things. I do ad hoc things if it's a onesie, twosie, and I tell somebody I'll get it out. But generally my mass mailings are on Thursdays or Fridays. And tomorrow is Friday, and that's the mailing day. So yay, watching from Connecticut. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for sharing, Carla and Linda. I appreciate it. Okay, so roll call, you guys. We have a long list here. The top of your tongue. Yes, exactly. Hi, Cheryl Thomas from Ohio. Cheryl Thomas, your check arrived in the mail today for the classes that you signed up for. So I did get that. I was going to follow up with an email too, so you have that. And Laura Sullivan, your check arrived today too for the Paradise Palm set. Yay! Okay, hi Brenda Lovelace from warm Houston, probably wearing a tank top like we saw you doing yesterday. All right, hi Deanna. Oh, roll call. First on the list, Deanna Stell, Sandy Wicklander, Latokia Trigg, Jennifer Jones, Ann Bellinger, Julie Bierschbach, Jeannie Parker, Kathy King, Susan Rich, Naughty, Nancy Stormer, Judy Immel, Diane Bogenhagen, Barbara Collins, hi Becky Mittenberger, hi Kathy McIntyre. I want to make sure I catch your comments as you guys have them come through. All right, so I just said Barbara Collins, hi Carissa. Then we have Jill Butzine, Lila Erickson, Jody Storman, Cheryl Thomas, Karen Wetstein, Feline Mays, Penny Powell, Elaine Rebeck, Chris Dudarenki, Debbie Schultz, Sue Somerville, Karen Stagg, Janet DeShane, Dee Serena, Patsy Roberts, Doris Monson, Carla Lake, Deb Ryan, Christina Bernards, Carolyn Ketchmark, Marcia Dean, Stacy Ray, Melody Miller, Pam Dufek, Becky Rohrer, Linda Hunt, Shirley Malarkey, Becky Gandolfo, Amanda Reyes, Cindy Woods, Francis Rodriguez, Lori P., Sharon Davis, and Tracy Gruby. Whew, you guys, that was a list, but it wasn't as long as the list that I had last week with the flowering fields. Whew. If you guys missed flowering fields from last week, I do encourage you to watch that class. It was a great one. Such fun cards using the flowering tulips. It was good. So this class today, I've been excited about this class. The Beauty of the Earth. Oh, I should get the catalog so you guys can see. So hang tight here. Okay, so we're going to open up to the annual catalog, and I'm going to show you where the stuff is that we're going to be working with right now. So this catalog is retiring, you guys. A whole bunch of you guys are watching live. I love it. If we go to the table of contents, the suites, it's pages 10 and 11. So this is The Beauty of the Earth. That's what the name of the class is, but it features the bundle. They name the bundle something different usually. So it's Beauty of Friendship. And this stamp set is carrying over to the new annual catalog. However, and I can't explain why, and I'm not happy about it, but the dies are not carrying over. Hi, Kay Warren. I'm sad because the dies are what make the set so amazing. Being able to die cut all these trees and the labels, and it just blows my mind that a stamp set would carry over without the matching dies. So that's my sob story for the moment, guys. But anyways, I can't tell you right now if the dies are still there or not, or if the paper is there. Hi, Vicky Sloan. So the designer series paper here is really what got used in class tonight, and that is not carrying over. And then there's one more thing in the suite. It's called the Bark 3D embossing folder, and that was used on a bunch of the cards. Oh, Denise has the stamp set. Yeah, the stamp set's great too. Not saying that it's not good, but I would pick the dies over the stamp set. So if you can get your hands on the dies yet, I would definitely do it. The Bark embossing folder is not carrying over either. So the thing that got coupled with this for class, so all the 47 people that I just listed off, and one person got 2 sets, so that's why I only had 47 names, but what you guys got in your little baggie here is you got your 4 card kits, and you got your goodie bag. Thanks for sharing and liking, Melanie Foy. Hi, Philly. All right, so you guys got your quarter pack of designer series paper, which is basically 2 each of the 6x6. Why did the tulip dies retire, but the punch is carrying over? You know, Linda, I don't know. I'm not privy to why things carry over and why things don't carry over. I honestly couldn't tell you. Like, sometimes I'm shocked when things don't carry over and then other things do. So your guess is as good as mine, and all I could say is the only way we know is ask Stampin' Up! But they'll tell you that was just what the design team probably decided. Hi, Dee Serena. So this is what we're going to be using to cut designer series paper first. So I'm going to leave this set out. Naughty Nancy always lets me borrow her kit here so that I can have paper to cut with you guys. Hi, Barbara Collins. Okay, so you guys should have in your kit the holiday rhinestones, which are all the different colors. Super cool. These would make pretty little ornaments on trees. And then you guys will have a whole pack of, hi, Arliss Canoop. All right, you can always catch the replay later. Good morning, Zaina. So you guys will have a full pack of the Baker's Twine Essential. So 2 of them come with, I believe, 5 yards each, and then the other 3 come, you know what the book says. Before I quote it incorrectly, this twine is actually carrying over, you guys. The gems here are not, but there's 2 of them. They're on the back side, and it's $11 for the whole pack. So you might be thinking, well, I'm glad I got it as part of this kit because you have it. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to buy it because I don't need all the colors. So I thought this was a great little addition for this this card class. So the crumb cake and the white both have 10 yards, where the gray granite, black, and the vanilla have 5 yards. Okay, so that's the difference. So that's why 2 of the rolls look a little bit thicker than the other 3 rolls, just so you guys know. So I won't be using any of Naughty Nancy's stuff unless I've missed something in my kits, which you guys have seen happen before. So, all right. Oh, hi, Linda Rios. Late, but not too late. We really are just getting started. So here's the stamp set, you guys, and I've pulled out all my stamps over here that we're going to be using. So this is a great class. I had a great time. Chris actually was here, I don't know, Chris, if it was like a whole month ago already, but we designed the cards together. So this was a duet class that put 2 brains are always better than 1 when it comes to designing. So you guys got an extraordinary class tonight, I think. That's my thought. We didn't use these 2 stamps. We didn't use all the sentiments, but we did do 3 of the different sentiments. Hi, Carmen Melendez, and the tree got used a little bit. And here are the dies I was talking to you guys about. This tree got used, this got used. The dies are so awesome. So before I forget, I have a pile of cards over here, just a few of them, and I've got Happy Mail. So this one came from Laura Sullivan. She put a note in here. She changed up her paper pumpkin. So if you guys might recognize this looks like a paper pumpkin alternative. Laura, you did a great job. It's beautiful. I love it how you did it. So this one came from, I believe, Cindy. Yep, Cindy Rentree sent me this one. I loved her ombre effect with the happy birthday, and then a triple layer of the baker's twine with a triple bow. So very pretty. And here's to another year full of adventures. I think that Laura had something cool in here too, just because you are special to me. So those were 2 happy mails. And hi, Laura Ann. My other happy mail is from Pat Detlefson. She sent me a cute little owl card that says just a note. And I love the blues and the greens with it. So pretty. So that's my happy mail, you guys. So I thought I'd share that really quick. Okay, before I forget. And then what we're going to do, what we always do for ink, paper, scissors, you guys, is we always cut the designer series paper first, and then we will put it in with our kit so that when we're done cutting paper, we can go right to town creating. So we're going to start with a really easy one first. We're going to start with this one, you guys. The colors on this one are awesome, and we're going to do something special. I've never done this on a card before. Actually grabbing linen, the baker's twine. If I call it linen thread, you guys, I really mean for it to be baker's twine. So I can tell I might do that. I might interchange. But I never have braided really and put it on the background of a card. And so this card is so simple, but yet it's so elegant and pretty. And my mom, when she first saw it, she's like, did you think to put that braiding on there and have it called the Friendships Refresh the Soul? Because usually when you have a really good friendship, your friendship is considered braided, like you're interwoven and like woven together. And so I didn't, when she said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But we didn't think about that when we worked on this card. So we're going to cut this one first, and then we'll go to the rest. You can see what we tried to use is different sheets of paper for each of them. I know we'll be using this one over here, so I might just leave that there. And then this green one gets used here on this card, so I'll bring that out. And as I'm flipping through, I'm just going to keep grabbing. There's the blue one. That one got used there. And then this one got used there. So I'm just bringing out the sheets that we're using. Okay, and that one got used there. Now, the great thing about this is, you guys, you'll have extra designer paper, not even cut up here, just a 6x6. Hi, Robin Stender. Hi, Diane Bogenhagen. You guys, what I've been seeing is, yeah, my mom is a smart lady. She is. I've been seeing you guys, Karen Wetson especially, whenever she sends out a card, she always cuts off a section of this. And what she'll do, you guys, is she'll put it as the front flap on the envelope. So when you open it up, like you have this on the outside flap, and then you have your card, and it just completes and seals the whole deal. So don't be afraid to use more of this paper to decorate the flap of your envelope, okay? That always adds to it. So I don't think for the moment we need this. So I am going to set this off to the side, and we're going to start with this guy first. So I got smart with you guys. And generally when I have classes, I use 1/16 of an inch. But for when I do ink, paper, scissors, and you're cutting your own designer series paper, I want you to be successful. And I know 1/16 of an inch are not always the nicest to people. So what we always do is we keep it to 1/8 of an inch. And so on this one, the DSP is very simple. It's 5 by 3 3/4. The one thing that you need to make sure you're doing when you cut designer series paper is make sure that if there's a pattern to it or not. And you want to make sure you cut your pattern the right way. So to me, this is how, I don't know what it is about it, but they feel like treetops to me, right? You could make your pattern go this, to me, this is going this way. But I think I want to have mine this way. And so when it's 5, it's 5 high, 5 vertical, 3 3/4 wide, okay? So I'm gonna grab my trimmers and bring that in here, move my ink pads out of the way, and we're gonna get cut happy, you guys. Okay, I don't know if that might sound bad, but we need to get our trimmers and we're gonna do some cutting. I don't generally go over cutting in classes except for this one because this is you guys get full sheets of paper here. So this paper comes 12 by 12. And so a full sheet is actually 12 by 12, but for the class, I'm calling the 6 by 6 the full sheet because that's what you're getting as a size of your sheet is a 6 by 6. So we said 3 3/4 wide by 5 high. So I want to cut off at the 5-inch mark first. So I'm going to go to my 5 inches here on the side, and I got to make sure there's one on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. The darker gray is for cutting. The lighter one is for the scoring. I love these cards too, Diane. Tyler had given these cards some good grades on the board. And so he's going to come in here and see his stars somewhere else. Like I always put them off to the side. Hi, Cheryl Stewart. So he's going to have to regrade some other cards now. So for those that don't know, Tyler is my boyfriend and he is very involved and he loves to come in here and put little stars and silver acorns and silver bottle caps, and he goes and puts little markings on cards that he likes, and he loves the nature cards. So now I flipped, you guys, so I cut it at 5, and I'm going to flip my paper clockwise, and I'm going to go to 3 3/4, and the saying is measure twice, cut once, and if you're not certain, practice on copy paper, you guys. Don't go straight to the designer paper if you're not certain. Hi, Penny Powell, coming in late. Sounds good with watching the replay. So 3 3/4, you guys. So now this and this you can use for something else later in life. Maybe, hopefully not 10 years from now, like I always tease. But so that is going to be your piece of paper that goes on this card right here. Okay, so I'm going to set this off to the side, set here, and then thanks for sharing, Linda Hunt. We're going to do this one next. This one seems very easy to me as well. I think that it might even be the same. Yep. 5 by 3 3/4. So this is one of the classes where the designs of the cards will actually use a full mat, for the most part, of designer paper. When I design cards for a class where I have to make 88 of them, you guys will see that I generally use just strips or small sections of designer paper, right? And like this one from last week, like a 3 by 4. Or like in this case, this was like a 2.5 by 5. So when I design for 88 and I have to cut up the designer paper, they generally become smaller pieces. But when I do ink, paper, scissors, I have no problem having you guys use a full mat because it looks so cool having a full mat. So you want to make sure you grab this piece. Now this piece here, it has trees on it, and you can see that they're trees, right? So you want to be careful not to cut your trees going this way. You might not really realize it when the whole card's put together. So if you do cut it the wrong direction or orientation, it's not the end of the world. But if you want to make sure you have it right, you want to cut it at 5. So we'll cut off. Now here's the thing too, you guys. You do have 2 sheets, okay? So you probably will have them looking the same, might be my guess. So this pattern of paper, this one, it started off light and it had this ombre effect, and it went to darker. So the people that got the two bottom sections here, you probably have a little bit darker of a pattern of tree, more like where this looks like it's darker. So depending on where you want your trees, like, so this is lighter with less tree action. This is darker. Where do you want your section to be cut from? So I think I want to cut it here. So I'm going to flip my paper and cut at 5, and I'm going to kind of cut off the top. So as you're looking at your designer paper, figure out, so I'm not going to use this in my card. I wanted the more tree-like section, and then I'm going to cut it at 3 3/4. Now, from here to here, it doesn't make a difference which side. So if you cut your 3 3/4 here, or if you cut your 3 3/4 here, that's not that big a difference. So on your paper, if you have that darker bottom half, it might, but I doubt it. So again, that was 5 by 3 3/4. And so that's what's going to go on the top of like a map for this card. So we've got 2 of them done already, you guys. These are the 2 identical. You shouldn't have to do any more for that one. All right, now this one's relatively easy. There's just a DSP strip going right up the middle. It's like the oak leaves, and it kept it simple. It's a 5 1/4 by 2. And so what's going to happen here is there's a pattern to this one as well. You have trees, and so the orientation, you want to make sure you cut 2 inches with it long. And again, you can look at it and figure out, well, which section do you want? It kind of looks all the same, but I want to take 2 inches from this side. So I'm going to flip it over this way and take, because I use the numbers on this side. I don't use the numbers on the other side. So I wanted my 2 inches from, so this is extra. So I'm going to use my 2 inches, but then I said it was 5 1/4. So we're going to do 5 1/4, and it really doesn't matter if you take off the bottom or the top at this point. It kind of all looks the same to me, but 5 1/4. I always look at it twice, you guys. That's just how I go. So you got this little extra slip of paper. You can do what you wish with it. Okay, so this is all we need for this card right here. Okay, so last card is our, so did you guys see what we tried to do? We tried to do a spring, summer, fall, and winter card. We tried to capture all of the seasons. And now this is our fun fold where it opens like this and like that. A little bit like this and a little bit like that. Designer paper 5 by 2. So this is this piece right here. Hi, Marilyn Skorker. This is 5 by 2. So we use this one for the other one. So I'm just going to cut myself off here a 2-inch strip. And I don't think it matters which side. So I'm going to go 2 inches here, extra, and by 5. And so now I don't want this top section because I feel like there's less pattern right here. So I will take off the top, and that leaves me with a piece that looks like this. Okay, and then the last section here is, and you guys have this, all of you guys that signed up for this class, you got the PDF tutorial. I emailed it. Whew, I was good. I emailed it on Monday. Oh, all right. So the chicken scratch, you guys. And you know what? Sometimes I don't even trust my chicken scratch. Oh, DSP 3 by 3.5. So, but I like to just double check. Sometimes 3 by 3.5. Perfect. So this one, I want my lines to be going this way. And so it's 3 and then 3.5 tall. Figure out what do you want for your section. Hi, Barb Johnson. Figure out, do you want this darker section? Do you want a lighter section? However you want it. 3 inches, so 3 is half, so you get half of the other side. So this could be used for your envelope if you wanted. And then 3.5. I was good, you guys. I was so good on this one. And then I had it in my head, oh, get the in-color class done. Get the in-color class written. And then Tuesday, I designed during the day, worked on swap cards. And then yesterday happened, and all of a sudden today I'm like, Mom and I are kidding up, and I'm like, Mom, I got to get the in-color class, because the in-color class is tomorrow, you guys. I have a Friday class. I don't generally have Friday online classes unless I squeeze something in. So tomorrow night we're doing these 5 cards. And so the PDF, you guys, went out for this like around the lunch hour. I did it right after lunch. So you guys should have that now. I do have a lot of kits left for that. Not a lot. I have 8 left for that one. So are you guys good with the cutting? That's all that we needed to cut. So when it comes to ink, paper, scissors, we don't make you have to struggle. You know, there's no struggle bus involved with cutting the designer paper. You just can't be afraid to cut it. So So these are Naughty Nancy's though. So I'm gonna put these back in her envelope or put them into her, sort them for her. We made a deal. When she signs up for this class, she lets me cut her paper as the sample to show you guys. Because generally when I'm kitting up or on designing the cards, I make my kits and I cut up my paper already. So I already have, I hope I have all my pieces intact. So, all right. I don't think we're gonna do the blue one first. I think we're gonna do this guy first. So, all right. So we're gonna start with our tree card here. And this one, you can make this one look more summery or more fall-y. I know those aren't words, but depending on how you layer the tree part of it. So for those that have the card kits, you're gonna wanna make sure you got that 2" by 5 1/4 strip in with this kit. What you also will have in your kit besides this, that's in there now, but you'll have your card base, which is a traditional card base, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Yours are already folded, but they're not burnished. You guys always want to just burnish your card base once you get it. And so you want to make sure you keep this horizontal. Then in your kit, you guys will have a piece of Mossy Meadow, which will be for your outside mat. This is what the bark embossing folder looks like. It is awesome. One of my favorite embossing folders. I actually bought myself a second one because the first one got so used throughout the last year that it started to warp and it was getting eaten from the embossing that was being done. And Tyler used this one to emboss. He embossed 56 of these for me like 3 weeks ago. And so that's where the bark folder got used. So it got eaten. It does. When he helped me, like sometimes, I'm not saying it gets eaten. That's how it happens. And so he's like, you should get a second one and then sell this one so you have a brand new one to use for the rest of your life. I'm like, yep, good idea. So I bought myself a second embossing folder, guys. Yes, I did that. And then you have a piece of white that goes on the inside, which we'll stamp that. Looks something like a tree. So we'll stamp that in a second. And then you'll have your espresso mat. So that is something that should be in your kit. It's just an 1/8 inch wider on each side. And then the compliments of Anna, the die cutting queen of mine. She die cut you guys one of these espresso trees. The solid piece is in Mossy Meadow. And then this is in crumb cake. Not crumb cake, crushed curry. Okay, so here's the trick with this. You have 2 options for putting your tree together. One, you could go like this and then put your early espresso over the top. And it kind of mutes out the crushed curry yellow, okay? No problem, that's one option. Another way you can do it, and you can just play with it till you see how you like it. You could also glue this down first and then put the yellow over the top. And it's a little more bold. It's a little more fallsy, right? So I think I asked Tyler there's not much difference. I mean, I asked Tyler what he liked better, and he liked where you could see the branches through it. So that's how I'm gonna make this one. Lastly, in this kit, you should have your little label, which is where I'm gonna stamp thank you on it. And then just remember, your rhinestones and your twine are part of your goodie bag. And so you'll be grabbing that in a second when we start to work with it. So what should we do first? Let's do our stamping because I like to always I go in spurts. Do I want to stamp first or do I want to glue first? So because these are photopolymer stamps, I am going to grab out my piercing mat, and I'm also going to grab out a little scratch paper to put underneath here. And we're going to stamp our sentiment and our inside first. So that's what the inside looks like. So you need Mossy Meadow and Early Espresso for the ink colors for this card. And I'm going to do Mossy Meadow first. And there are 2 stamps that look almost identical, but they are slightly different. One is more full and one has more detail. So if I stamp both of these, let's get it inked up good. So if I stamp this, you can see that one looks like, I'll bring it up to the screen so you guys can see better. One has this shading in the background and this one has more open. And what I like to do is I like to use this one at second strength, meaning stamp off, and then use the second strength, and then I do that one at first strength. That's what I like to do with that one. So we're gonna do that. So the more full one, and I always stamp off good, and then I go over to where my white cardstock is, and so that was second strength. So you can see it's just a slight hair lighter. And then I'm going to use the more detailed one at full strength. And I'm just going to go over the top. Don't know. There's no rhyme or reason. I just kind of hover over the top. It's got a lot of forgiveness with matching this up and lining it up. But you get almost like 3 shades of your tree on that. So that's it for the Mossy Meadow. Early Espresso is next. And my stamps are so loved, you guys. They have turned pink. And they're time to go underneath the sink and get washed up because they have lost almost all of their stickiness. So when a photopolymer stamp loses its stickiness, I did a Tip Tuesday on this. You gotta just go rinse it off and get the goo off. There's dust and particles that get stuck to it, and then it loses its stickiness. But I'm gonna not worry about it right now and just go with it. But sometimes it'll be so unsticky that it'll fall off into your ink pad. So this is where I'm gonna put that piece of scrap paper down there. And I don't care where my tree ends up down here, as long as it comes down past the bottom of the edge of the paper, because I want my tree to be grounded. So now I'm trying to get that triangle section of the branches just kind of lined up in the green part, and just making sure my tree's growing straight, tall into the sky. All right, so that's that. But I think I told you incorrectly. I know that there is a little stamp here that looks like grass, and it's in here. You guys have got a hot mess in here. I really do. I save the extra pieces, so if I'm designing and there's so many extra little birds, and they don't stick anymore. So I got a hot mess in this stamp case. It's like looking under my skirt. Don't look in there too much. Okay, so with this one, this little mound of grass, I want to put that at the bottom. I think it just adds a nice little texture to the bottom. So the Mossy Meadow is pretty dark, so you can choose if you want to do first or second strength. I might just do second strength on here. And what it does is it just makes it look like there's a little bit of grass growing around the tree. Just adds a little bit. So now we're not done with espresso. We need to find, I had a thank you somewhere. The grass is there. This little guy is what I wanted to do next. So I have, oh, of course, I took it off. You guys, I have a brand new chamois tonight. We're gonna christen this guy in tonight, okay? Look at that, it's brand new, never been used before. And somebody's gotta start it off, and I thought I might as well be that person, but I always hate doing it, so. So once you get a chamois dirty, you guys, it'll never be clean again. That's just how it works. Somehow, one of the chamois in the hive went somewhere like else in my hive, or is somewhere upstairs, and don't know where it is, so I moved the chamois that's usually here in that workstation out into the floor, and then got a new one for myself right here for the videos. Yay! All right, so we're gonna do a little thank you. I always like to practice just to make sure it's on there straight. Sometimes photopolymer stamps can get on there wishy-washy, and it might not stamp straight. You guys, the other thing is there is a front and a back to your dies. For those that are newer that might not know this, the more rough edge is the back, and the more rolled, smooth side is the front. So it doesn't look very different, but what I try to tell people, if you want to, you could practice on the back of it first just to see how it works for you, and then you can always flip it over and see which, if you know, get a little practice in it first, and then if the front doesn't turn out, maybe you've done the back better and you don't see it through it. So that's my thank you. And I think we're done with Inky Dinky Doo for this one. All right, so we're gonna move that out of the way. Oh, guys, we're gonna clean our stamps right away. So I did stamp off on that paper. I like to stamp off a little bit just because it helps to keep the ink out of the chamois. All right, so the other thing too, if you guys had stamp cleaner, you could spray the chamois with the stamp cleaner. I just realized I don't keep any right around here. I'm just gonna do both of these at the same time. Oh man, it's getting doity. All right, I knew that was gonna fall off. And then there's this guy. So stamp off a little bit. A new chamois, you know, You might as well get it out and use it, Deb. I definitely agree. Why not? I've had this one in the drawer for a little while. Like, when do I bring it out? When do I bring it out? And it's like, well, tonight's the night. It's like you got the brand new dress in the closet, right? Just wear it sometime. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit glue happy. Oh, you guys can see a difference here in my trees. This one is a little darker and that one's a little lighter. They both look nice. And just to show you a difference in the shading of the ink. Okay. So let's get glue happy. You guys know I like to do doubly glues. So we're gonna glue this, and we can glue our white. So I flip over all three of the things that I wanna glue, and then the main thing is to just not get them wrapped up in each other. My mom was helping me put swap cards together today, and all of a sudden something flipped all over, and then everything got glue everywhere, and we salvaged everything, so it all worked out good. Hi, Ethel King. Hi, Brenda Lee from Ontario. All right, so the embossed piece will go on the Mossy Meadow mat. The designer paper, I bet you guys want to see the swap cards. Oh, man. Oh, I do have them here, I think. I have some swaps that I signed up for, and for the new catalog to try to get some samples in, and I have them sitting over on the table there, so I'll try to remember to grab them. So this is flush from end to end. Now, if for any reason your designer paper isn't, if it's too long, you can just take your scissors and trim it. And if it's, if your designer paper ended up a hair shorter, you can always trim your espresso paper just a little bit. Okay, so then this last piece gets glued onto our inside, like this. All right, so that's that. Then what we can do is glue this piece onto this mat. And then the other thing I think I'm gonna do is prep this with a little bit of glue as well and glue that down. Now I decided I'm gonna put my tree on top. So this gets a little glue. And then, okay, it's important for you guys to line this up. So that works, but that doesn't work, right? There's a little hook over on the side there. That little hook is what goes into that little notch right there, whatever you want to call it, the bump out. So when it comes to this stuff, the other thing you can do is if you like to see a little height, you could put some dimensionals right in the middle, some baby dimensionals, but I'm just gonna go for the glory here and glue it all flat. And I don't put glue everywhere. I just find some strategic spots that are a little bit wider that my glue won't ooze out. You don't need to glue every little section of it. So you can see that's how much glue I did. All right, so that's gonna go down on here. You don't wanna squish it all over the place though. Once you get it set down, kind of try to leave it where it is, because if you wiggle it, that glue is gonna wiggle everywhere. So then this one, make sure your trees are going the right way before you adhere this. And I have a little bit of white on the side. I always try to make sure my top is flush. And then if my bottom needs to be trimmed, I go ahead and trim it, but that seems pretty good. Now the tree, if you need to poke any pieces out, go ahead and poke them out. The other thing I might recommend doing now is Stella-ing, because once you have it on the tree, it'll get Stella everywhere. And I think I just want to try to Stella the branches. So you guys, I rejuvenated my Stella pens, and I think Kelly had a little bit of a blowout on Monday night because when you add rubbing alcohol to a Stella pen, it's not as thick as the solution that's in there. And so if you squeeze it, it just comes out faster. So, but there is a Tip Tuesday on reviving your Stella pen. You just need to, I think Kelly did it, and it's called refreshing your Stella pen. All right, so we're gonna put glue. I'm not gluing the bottom right now. I'm only gluing the top because I'm only trying to connect this espresso branches, that section, to the tree over here, or the top part. And so you guys, I'm just adding bits of glue. I can still hold on to the trunk. I'll set this on top of here, like that. All right. I didn't want to do the bottom yet because I'm not quite ready to put it on the card. So we're going to grab our twine here. So this one used, just bring these all out, get them out of the bag. We're going to use the crumb cake one. And it is a triple. So there's 3 lines here. So how am I going to know how much to use? What I do is I'll kind of measure a 1/2 inch past 3 times, like that, and that will give me pretty much what I need for the first go round of getting that. I'll worry about the little knot thing in a second. So what I like to do is prep the back with tear and tape. I'm going to rip off 2 pieces, and it's about the line is a good inch up. So I'm going to prep my tear and tape up this high, like that. And then I'm going to take one end of the twine. See, the thing is, I have the samples card, so I can always just go right there. You guys do have the picture in the PDF tutorial, so hopefully you can eyeball it. I just put one end into the tear and tape right there, and then I bring it over and catch the tear and tape, and then loop it back, cross the front, loop it back, cross the front, right? That's why I cut as much as I needed, and I ended up only with that much extra. I do not wrap ribbon around because why waste it? If you don't see it, you don't need it there. So that saves a little bit of your twine. I do follow up with some more tear and tape, and I am going to pick that off. That just creates that extra goo on both sides of the twine. Oh, Linda loves it. Yes, you guys have been doing that for a while. You have to. If I had 88 of these to like send out to you guys, you know I would not give you enough to wrap around, because if you think about this in terms of quantity, that's 3 inches times 2 is 6 inches. That's a 1/2 foot. 88, that'd be 44 feet that I would have saved if I, let's say, would have had 88 for this class. Even if you have 40 for the class, that's 20 feet, okay? So that's a chunk. Yes, Louise, I definitely agree. A great way to save. So I did not put any adhesive on the front here, which now that will allow me to slide my tree in where I want it. I'm gonna pop this up. Oh, Linda used that technique today. Yay. All right, I'm grabbing my glue scissors. I'm going to try to get some of the stuff off the end. And I'm putting dimensionals on the back side of my tree here. And I'm going to put the trunk flat though, which is normally how I do things that I like that are grounded. I will pop up the top, but then I'll leave the bottom flat. And so let's get those out of here. And what I'm going to do is prep a little bit with a little bit of liquid glue right there. You don't need a lot, but we'll put a little right there too. The thing is, you have to be extremely careful now sliding it in if you did that. You could also slide the tree in and then lift up from the other end and put the glue, but I'm gonna be very careful. So I know my tree needs to go right about here. So I'm gonna gently pick this up and kind of like hover over the top and kind of slip it in there. It sounded dirty, sorry. Yeah, and then that gets glued flat on the bottom and my tree is popped at the top like that. All right, so now you have this ribbon right here. Depending on how high you got, like I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I kind of want my sentiment here, but oh, you know what? I could make my tree a little higher. Let's see if I can still pull this off, because oh man, it might go, oh yeah, it's gonna go just, I can't do a lot because I got glue on the bottom, but depending on where your ribbon ended up, you might put your, see, I moved it up just 1/8 of an inch and that kind of gave me where I wanted it. Because I really wanted my twine to be going right through the middle of that, because I like, hi Kathy McIntyre, I want to put a track here. So how I'm going to do that is cut a strip here. If you have the foam strips, that works too, but if you cut, let's see which is the front and the back. So I'm going to put a line at the top here, and I'm going to put one at the bottom, because I already have twine. If I had put more in the middle, it kind of will give you that hump in the middle. So I was fortunate I was able to move my tree up slightly, and I have it right over here, I'm guessing. Now, because I did the track, it allows that twine to go right through the middle of that. All right. Then there are 3 like tied knot things. I don't know how to explain that. So what we're gonna do, grab your ribbon scissors and throw it in your lap and catch it. All right, so I'm gonna cut maybe 1, 2, you know, the harder you have a hard time with ribbon, cut yourself more so you aren't struggling, right? But if you have the ability to cut maybe about 3 inches, you're gonna hold those 3 together and you're just gonna make a little knot. And what happens is you could have taken, I guess, 3 full pieces, taken them around and tied them, but I don't like to do that because I don't know, my knots never turn out good, my bows never turn out good, so I like to fake it. And so I'm gonna put a little glue dot here. They are Mitzi. The foam strips are slightly thicker than the dimensionals. So just to show you, so Mitzi's, so I had mentioned you could use these if you wanted, but they are, if you look at them, you can see that they are, you can see that, the black versus the white, you can see the black, that's how thin, so they are thicker. They would pop up a little higher, but if you don't like to cut the edges of your dimensionals, like I just did, this could be an alternative for you. All right, so let's stick that back. So I got my little glue dot there, and now I'm gonna just put this right exactly where I want it and squish it down good, and then give your little ribbons, tails a little haircut. Tyler's getting a haircut tonight, you guys, 7:30. He's getting his hair did. All right, I'm gonna make sure switch that. I'm hoping that I don't have any technology issues tonight. So got a little haircut for the ribbon going on, and I'm gonna split that. And the next thing then, I like to just split them a little. You know, if you don't want them all the same length too, you can trim one a little shorter to make it look a little messier. So the gems. So I think what I might do is wait till the very end, you guys, for the gems. I have this left, and I think I want to be strategic. So I didn't buy myself a new pack just to use for class. I still had this all left. So I'm going to wait till the very end and put my gems on to make sure I have what I need for each card. So, and we already stellaed that. Now, if you wanted to go back and stella more, you definitely could. But, yep, this is the one that must have gotten squeezed out. If you want to just add a little bit more. So Tyler is not a Stella fan. He doesn't want like glitter or bling on anything. So that's okay. Whoever gets this card is going to be happy. All right. So we've got one done so far. That's what we got, you know, minus the gems. I promise we'll come back and do the gems as a group project at the end for all the cards. So I'm not going to have these cards go very far. All right, so where do I want to set it so I don't lose them? I'm going to take a drink of water. We're going to put the, oh, as long as I got you guys here, I forgot to show you this. This was Kelly's Technique Thursday card from this morning. She was live. There's nothing on the inside, but she did great, I thought, with this Cactus Cuties. I had not used that bundle before. I love what she did. So simple but elegant, and she did the kissing technique today, you guys. So, all right, now I can cover that up. So, all right, we are going to do this guy next. So, grab out so 3 of the bases, you guys. It's all about the base. 3 of the bases used early espresso, so I had stockpiled on early espresso to make sure I had enough of it. All right. Oh, Linda watched her. Great. Okay, so we've got a little bit of stamping with this one too. Oh, man. Okay. I forgot to tell you guys this because I have a tendency not to look on the inside, but do you see here there's a strip of designer paper right here? So that is something you would need to cut out of your scraps that you had. So let's go back to the pile and grab, oh, that's a different piece. Okay, so here's the deal. That is a different piece, and it doesn't make sense just to cut a 1/2 inch from that one. That's a different pattern paper. It actually is that one, right? So instead of cutting that one, I think what we can do is make this work. Oh, actually, we can make this work. So you had a little leftover strip here. If you like the idea of having a strip of designer paper right along the bottom to make it look like grass all the way across, let's use what was left over from this green piece here, the skinny strip, and we'll cut that. So it is gonna be 4 inches by a 1/2 inch. And my pattern here, you can't see any of that's really trees. So let's go back. I told you guys we were done cutting, but we really weren't. So sorry. All right, so 1/2 inch, you gotta be really careful when you do the 1/2 inch and you only have 1 inch. You gotta kind of like line it up and then set this down very gently. And you kind of gotta hold this as you cut so your paper doesn't wiggle all over. So that's how I got that cut. So that gives us that little 1/2 inch strip that will go along the bottom. Okay, so because this is for Nancy, I'm gonna set hers over here. These were her scraps, so we'll put them there. And now we have our 1/2 inch strip here. All right, so you guys should have an early espresso base. Yeah, the kissing technique. Oh, you haven't seen that before, Mitzi. So I remember when I first started doing classes in 2015, I went to a Stampin' Up! Convention. And that was one of the things that they demonstrated live at the convention. So it was super cool. So you have a vanilla piece for your inside. You'll have this strip for on the bottom, okay? Mossy Meadow Mat again, you guys. And then your designer paper goes here. Now, this was super cool, you guys. This is the bark embossing folder with vellum. It just gave it this cool texture. So that's already done for you in your kit. You have a little, somehow I ended up having mine stamped already. I don't know, I did it already. But this little die comes from the Stitch So Sweetly dies that are retiring. And there's a little baby hello in here. So hello, hello, hello in espresso. So what you guys can do at some point, I've done mine already, but take your espresso ink and that hello fits in there perfectly. So that's done. And then you have a vanilla with a white, a vanilla with a stitched rectangle. So you guys, there is stitching on there. It's not just, I'm gonna try to get the focus better. There's stitching on around the edges from the stitched rectangles. Then this is what you've got. So we're gonna do a little stamping on here and a little stamping there. We'll set these things just off to the side for the moment in time. So we need, oh, it's the big, I told you guys wrong again. We used the big tree on this one. Well, look at them apples. Okay, so we gotta grab these 2 stamps out, which is no problem. We've got them here. And we're gonna grab 2 blocks for them just to have them on their own blocks. And you can tell that tree has been stamped in green a lot. And this one, I have no idea why. They all turn pink eventually. To me, they do. Okay, so we still need our piercing mat. And we're going to do this one first. So this has the same kind of concept where you've got a little bit more blah, like solid image, and then this one's the more detailed. And I want to do the same thing with this, where I'm going to stamp this one at 2nd strength, and then we're going to do the other one at 1st strength. So grab your Mossy Meadow back, and you're going to ink up the more solid one and stamp off. And then the tip is going to go to the tip of this mat and do the marinating. A technique I learned from Diane. Let the ink marinate to the paper. And you've got a little. Now, we can try this 2 ways here. Just to see, for S's and G's, we're going to flip it over and see what it looks like at full strength. And then, okay, so that's full strength. So this one we're also gonna do, oh, it's not sticking. This one's gonna be at full strength. So just kind of find a spot where you think it needs to go. Okay, so that's kind of darker than I was looking. That's why I wanted to see what 2nd strength, so we can see the difference. Hover it over, kind of find where it needs to go. And sometimes what I do is I'll take this, I'll pick up, and I'll just move it slightly off kilter. Okay, so now the question is, it's like you're at the eye exam, guys. This is option 1, which looks better, or option 2, right? So this one looks obviously darker. I think you can see the difference, right? It's not like when you're at the eye doctor and you cannot see the difference between all the options they give you. I think it's a trick, right? So, or the lighter. So I kind of like this, that it's not so dark, but what I want to do, just to fill this in a little, I do want to give it another little go round with this more solid one and see if that fills it in. All right, so I like that. I did another second strength and I moved it off a little bit. And so that's what I'm going to end up with. Now, we need the green yet, and there's a tree on the inside. So because this is such a big tree, I didn't want the whole thing on, so I kind of cut part of it off the edge. So that's all right. So we might as well do that. S's and G's, yep. That's my PG version of that word, of that saying. All right, option 1 looks better. So and in the camera, you guys might think that because you can see it because it looks darker. And maybe we'll go with that one. Yeah, so let's do our inside. Now, remember I said we're going to go partly off the edge. I'm going to maybe just guesstimate where this needs to go so that I don't go too high or too low. Again, I'm going off the edge because I don't want too much of the tree taking into the spot where you're going to write a love note later. And go to this one. Inky dinky doo. Oh, nice. Very nice. Nice. Very nice. All right. Let's get our brown going. And we'll put our tree and branches, the trunk and the branches on. Now, don't worry because we gotcha. That's where that's going to go. And then remember, we've got that little hill of grass. Make sure you get the right ink color. And this one we'll do dark just to see. There we go. There's our innard. And then go back to the front. And we got to make sure we grab our brown ink, our espresso, and get your branches and trunk in there, and then same thing. We'll put a little tree hill on the bottom. Lovely. Okay, I think that might be it for our ink font for this card. So then we can get assembly happy, but let's clean up our stamps before we get ink on them. Ink everywhere, I should say. All right, let's go back to our poor little chamois is going to have, it's going to look like baby poo at the end of the night. All this green and brown. Yeah, we were talking about split pea. I call it split pea poop. It's split pea soup, right? So Tyler and I cooked a ham last week, and there's a ham bone left over, and we never made a soup because we couldn't decide on what soup we wanted. I wanted cauliflower and ham, and he wanted split pea soup. I don't like split pea soup because it reminds me like I'm eating baby food, which is fine, right? But it's just like mush. I'd rather have chunks of cauliflower, or like a potato and ham soup would have been good. But he was set on split pea soup, and I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. So you know what we did? We took the ham bone and all the extra little meat that was gonna go with the soup, and we gave it to my mom. We said, Mom, you can make whatever you want. And if you share it with us, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. So then we can't fight over what soup to make. So, all right, we get to get glue happy. Bean and ham, I like the bean and ham too. So, all right, so we're gonna flip this one over. We're gonna flip this one over, and we're gonna flip this, right? So we've got 3 things we're gonna glue. Split pea soup or bean soup, yep. Yeah, but I love cauliflower and ham. He doesn't like me eating cauliflower because I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Bodily functions need to happen, and you too, like, there's something about cauliflower, guys. Sorry, you're learning something about me tonight. The cauliflower tastes amazing, but it doesn't always do good for my stomach, but I still eat it. But poor Tyler has to put up with me. So that's why he said no cauliflower. All right, so this gets glued. Make sure your trees are right. I mean, at this point, we're okay. Yeah, ham and bean soup would be so good too. The thing I've learned about the beans, if they're dried, you really gotta let them soak good. And also, if you buy them in cans, you really gotta rinse them good. If you leave any of that syrupy stuff in there, then not good. So sometimes a trimmer will leave little hairs. So if I see that, I always try to trim them off. She hasn't made anything yet, Jeannie. Are you coming over for dinner? Oh, I think she put it in the freezer because she was too busy to work on it. So, all right, we're gonna flip this over and we are going to, so the thing with the vellum is because it's got these white marks on it, you probably wouldn't see liquid glue through it, but I'm not gonna take a chance. So what I'm gonna do is just put glue on the area where the image is gonna go. So something like that. And then my little, oh, you guys, did I glue that in already? Okay, so generally I would have glued this little strip to my vanilla piece before putting this. Oh, well, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so do you see what's happening here? I stamped the little grass hill, but it's going away because I'm gonna go with the strip because I've already cut it. And it's up to you if you guys want the little grass hill or if you want designer paper, but I think it looks cool having the grass all along the bottom. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this going. So I meant to put glue on this here. So now it's important you get your trees facing the right way. And so I think Jeannie, my mom, didn't have the stuff to make really anything, so she put the ham bone in the freezer and is gonna make it later in life. So you guys, I had the glue going there, so that's gonna go towards the inside, and then that gets adhered to the front here. So we're gonna let that sit for a second, and there's twine on here, and but you're the boss, I love it. So there's 3 different colors. I've got vanilla, the crumb cake, and black. And you're going to need enough so that you can like tuck your tails around the edge. So cut a little bit there, and the vanilla. Oh man, not my finger. Okay, we gotta prep the back with tear and tape on this one as well. So about that much. And what we're doing on this one is we're doing it slightly different. We're gonna attach our tails. So let's see, right about here. So 1 tail, 2 tails, 3 tails. And I'm going to just make sure I've got that right about the right height. I'm gonna put this one, I want the top one, I'm gonna put it down at the bottom. So we're gonna do right there. I'm at the bottom of the 3. So, because then I'm gonna put my tear and tape over this right away and just have it there. Now, these are all twisted together, so it's hard to see it, but they kind of twist and go every which way. So I'm just going to kind of twist these like I'm twirling my hair and bring it across the front like that and catch it on the back side. And you're going to secure it with another piece of tear and tape. Now I'm not going to pick the tear and tape off on this because I'm popping this up with dimensionals. And because there's height with the dimensionals, I don't want it to stick where the tear and tape is and try to pull it down there. And I'm going to do, let's see here, 9. Oh, I guess I got an extra one. So now that's going to go onto the front of the card. See if I can get all of these in one false swoop. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So then this is kind of to the right of the vellum. So you can see that cool embossing on the left-hand side. Okay, try to get it straight. All right. Hopefully, the vellum's gonna stick now. And then we have this little dude left, that little guy. So you wanna have that stamped if you have Hello Grade or if you have something else, whatever you have in your arsenal. Same thing with this. That ribbon is gonna go right through the middle of it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a white dimensional, a baby one, and I'm gonna put it near the top of it and near the bottom. And now that twine will go right through the middle and it'll provide the support on the left and the right side. So I'm not gonna worry about that. And then something like that looks good to me. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this as we did on the other one. Cut yourself 3 pieces of each of the colors, not too long, right? Because you're gonna have to trim the tails, but enough that you can hold the 3 together and make that cute little knot thing. So we didn't do a lot. I don't even know if we did any bows on these cards. No, oh yeah, the blue and white card has a bow. So you gotta get your tails through there. It's so cool seeing all three of them going together. And grab yourself a little glue dot. And that's gonna go right over this. Oh, Angela, I'm glad you got a quick break at work. I guess it is what pays for them. So, yes, so you gotta work to be able to stamp. That's how it kind of goes, right? All right. Or you have had to save so that you can stamp and worked earlier in life, right? All right, so we're gonna trim the tails on these as well. I'm gonna add a little diagonal. I think that looks nice. And whew, we didn't Stella anything. Stella's gotta get her groove on here. So sometimes when I don't know what to Stella, what I'll do is Stella the edge of the frame. And again, if you know you're sending this to a guy and he's not gonna appreciate the Stella, you could leave Stella off. You don't, hi Sherry Martin, you do not have to put Stella on every card. Like I Bonnie Lesperance, who comes to class a lot, she will always put Stella on absolutely every card. And that's perfectly great too. And we talked about the gems, you guys. We're gonna hold off on doing the gems for right now because I'm gonna pull out all my diamonds at the end and see what I can do. So thanks for sharing, Linda Rios. I appreciate that too. Okay, so we're gonna set this guy over to the side. That one was a fun card, you guys. Okay, I think we'll save the braiding for last. Okay, so next is the blue fun folds, our navy fun folds. So get that one ready. We're gonna drink a drink. I promise, it's just clear water, haha. All right, so this one's next. So cool, fun, little fun fold. A little barren tree, he looks so naked. Poor little guy, he looks cold, oh man. Okay, so this one, we need this guy again. Did I stamp that in brown? I sure did, yep, okay. I think we cleaned that, yes we did. So we'll need brown for this card, you guys, and we need the navy color, and throw in some white in here. This was Carissa's idea. Very hard to see it, but there are some trees stamped. You can kind of catch them in white. And I see that I gave myself some white ribbon, but not all of it. So you should have a little label in your card. You guys, this is from the die set, right? So that little label is there for thinking of you. You'll have a little arm for the right flap. And so you can take that and burnish it. And then you'll have a piece of white in your kit from me that should mat on there. You cut your designer paper. We need to stamp that though. Oh, look at that. How did that happen? Okay, I got an extra white. Shouldn't have that. But this guy is where your designer paper will mat onto. So you got those. You should have a thick white tree and two little cardinals. So we'll set those over here. And then your base is a different base than normal. So it really does make an A2 card, but it's cut a little short here to do the little bit of fun fold going on. So make sure you burnish that. And we're gonna do some stamping first. So we need this piece. We need, oh, I don't have a white mat. That's what's going on here. Okay, I need to grab a white piece. So I had an extra of the other and I was missing this. So you guys, in your kits, you also should have a 5 1/4 by 4 here. And that's for your inside. So we need this piece, this, and we're gonna do a little stamping to begin with. So we're going to stamp Thinking of You. So Thinking of You comes from the set. We'll do that first. Hi, Christine Domino. Thank you so much. All right, so this little guy, and I mentioned earlier, if you're not certain of your stamping and you want to practice, it's always good putting a white piece onto a darker piece because then when you hover your stamp over the top, you can see. But I encourage you to practice, see how you like it, and then that gives you a little practice session. And now flip it over and do the real thing. And that works for me. Okay. Then We're gonna stamp off here. Now I am gonna stamp my inside tree first. And I'm doing that because white ink pad is really gooey, gooey. And it's harder to clean. So we're gonna do the tree first on the inside because that will clean up. It's the same stamp, right? So we're gonna ink up in our espresso. Yeah, the blue one is Anne's favorite. Okay, it is so pretty. All right, so I'm gonna get this. I want my tree to be grounded, so I'm gonna have my bottom of the tree come off the edge. So there's our inside. Poor little cold tree. Now we have to ink this up. I'm just ink this up. We have to clean this. So that's it for the espresso. So we're done with these two. So we'll set them off to the side. Oh man, here we go again, guys. Yikesies, it's gonna get doity. So it's really important to get this nice and clean. Now you might say, oh, we should have done the white first because you're going from a lighter color to a darker color. But I will tell you, when we get white ink on, oh, I'll even go to the other side to make sure it's really good. Okay, when we do this white ink, this is a craft pigment pad. It is super goopy, as long as it's inked up good, right? So this is it for the inside. We now need this piece. And we're just creating some illusions that there's trees that you can see through the blizzard. Because there's a blizzard going on right now. Okay, so let's see how inky this pad is. Oh yeah. Okay, so you can see it's really, it's white. And let's see here. I just want to, nope, that's not gonna work. I was gonna test it on something, but we're not gonna go. We're gonna test it behind where the tree is gonna go. So I'm just gonna stamp, oh, I'm just worried. How dark is this? We're gonna go for it and see how dark it is. And it's gonna be behind the other tree, so it's okay. So we're gonna just put one here. Oh, you can't even see it. It's actually kind of pinkish. Weird. Okay. All right, Julie, we'll catch you later. You can see the tree there. I'm glad I did it underneath where the other one's gonna get kind of glued. It made it slightly pink. So you know what we're gonna do, guys? Give me one moment. I'm gonna take this and rinse it off underneath this tap water. 1 second. So it has this remnants of this pinkness because of the stamp. Like, that's what happened. So I took and I just cleaned it off really, really good. Let's see what happens now. Now it's gonna stick better to my block too. So that will be good. And we're gonna see what happens now. All right, roll up the sleeves for this one, guys. All right, so ink up good. I thought it was gonna be so white that it would be stark, but it didn't. So we're gonna put this one here. Oh, nice. Okay, we're gonna ink up again. So make sure your stamp is really clean. Now, we had used that stamp on other cards beforehand, so it really wouldn't have made a difference. So you can see there now you've got some trees. Now the pink one's gonna get covered up. Luckily, I did it right underneath there, so it's gonna get pretty much covered up, but you've got two crisper white ones there. And if you really wanted to do another one, yeah, exactly. You got that right, Anna. The espresso has the red base. So we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more up there just to kind of look like we got our little forest going on. Okay, so instead of taking, to be honest with you, I am not gonna clean this white one with my chamois because it's gonna put all that white crafty. I'm gonna take this right to my sink after class and I'm gonna rinse this off with water from the tap. So I think we're not done with it. Maybe I'll have to do it now because I believe this one got it stamped too. Let's look at this real quick. I might just do it. Yep. I'm gonna go clean this really quick because then it can sit off behind me really for a moment in time. Okay, so these are water-based ink pads. So they clean up, the stamps will clean up really nice with photopolymer. Just run them underneath. But, all right, now I think we're ready for some assembly as I wipe off my fingers so they don't get the paper all wet. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And we get to put this beautiful card together. Anna's waiting for it. Hi, Carol Mills from Vermont. White ink is a hot mess always. Yes. You guys can relate to me. Yes. Okay. Well, you guys are going to get ink or glue happy. So I'm going to do this one and my flap here at the same time. We're going to wait on that stuff for the moment. Okay. So let's set that there. I promise I'm not going to over glue things. So we're doing this designer paper, and I'm only gluing the flap here. So how I'm going to do this is, Carissa taught me this actually. I always would attach it to the back of the white. So I would have normally glued this onto here, but what she taught me was if you glue it onto this base and make it flush here. Hi, Laura Kemp watching from Florida. If you make it flush here, you just have a nice straight line. And I guess you've got a little wiggle room. Thanks for sharing, Feline. If you want a little higher, a little lower, you've got a little room to go. Something like that'll be good. So now you've got this nice straight line here though. So that's what I learned recently. All right, so that's good to go. Now we're gonna do this one onto here. Look at that pink. So you guys know that that can happen if you are using your white craft pad and you even have a little tint of the pink in your stamp. That might happen. So pink on the stamp is not good, just like you don't want to have pink eye, right? So now we can do is flip these two over. We need to put twine on that. I just looked at it. You guys, in class, I get a lot of gals that get glue happy, and when there's twine, sometimes then they gotta pull the cards up. So I caught myself. I was wanting to glue it, but then I'm like, nope, we got twine that needs to go. Make sure your trees are going the right direction. And that one's gonna go here on this left flap, like that. And then you can open this up. We're gonna put our innard in. Make sure your tree's facing the right direction. Just like that. Just like downtown. Okay. Now twine. So I am going to use the Terran tape. And we're going to, Jeannie says that pink used to make Brenda angry. Well, you know what? She was right with me and she didn't stop me. But now I learned my lesson. So, I don't know, that didn't happen to us on that one. We must have had a nice clean stamp when we stamped Carissa. So, all right, prepping the back with the Terran tape. And I must have here about 12 inches, I'm guessing. So I'm gonna put my tail there, bring it around the front, make my loop, bring it back around the front, make my loop, and bring it back, y'all. So a triple again, you guys. If that's too much for you and you just want to do 2 or 1, that's quite all right too, but I'm going to pinch them together so they're a little bit more like closely situated like that. And then don't forget to follow back up with a little more Terran tape. Now, if you want to pop this up on the front of the card, you could very well do that. And I think I'm just going to do mine flat. So I'm going to peel off. So when I do it flat, I'm going to definitely peel the backs of my Terran tape off so that it catches. That. Add a little glue to the other areas. And then this is going to go, this is your favorite too, Linda. Nice. Yeah. So pretty. So this is going to go right onto that right arm flap thing. Right, so it's going to go like this. Now, I'm feeling, you guys saw me, I was feeling up my card. I put dimensionals underneath the middle section here. So, but before I do that, let's get Stella going. Make sure there's no pink in the Stella, otherwise we're going to have a pink tree on the card. All right, so, and I got to be careful because sometimes you can even just pick up the ink that's on scrap paper. That'll get caught in the Stella. So I am doing this on scrap paper, and then if I hit my scrap paper, I'm okay. All right, so we got that going on for us. And right here, so on your dimensional strip, you can cut yourself a little section, maybe something like this big, and set that right down the middle of your tree here, and that will help provide a little bump up. I don't even know, I didn't even glue that, you guys. I really didn't even glue the rest of it. I like things to be looser, but if that bothers you, all you have to do is put little dots of glue around. Oh man, you guys, I'm at 15% on my phone. I'm afraid to charge it. Oh man, what do I do? We're gonna try it and just see what happens. It's gonna yell at me if it doesn't work. Remember, I just got water in it, so. Nope, there's water in the charging port. Okay, not gonna work. We're gonna get the rice out later, guys. Okay, all right, so because we got one more card. Hopefully I last forever on there, but otherwise I've got that. So I might just put a couple little dots right here just to get a little more stability, okay? All right, so then this, you gotta be careful because if you have any party, oh, my tree comes flush on the bottom actually, and this does go right underneath. I'm gonna pull my string up a little to get my tree kind of underneath there. Once I have it where I want it, that'll be good. And then I'm going to take my 2 cardinals. Now these are also from that die set, from this bundle. Stella them, and they face each other. They love each other. They want to look at each other, right? And we're going to put a dimensional behind the 1. And that's going to actually help sit right here to help hold the tree down. Yeah, I loved how different these cards were too. This was a fun class to design for. And he's going to be, or she is going to be right there. And we're going to do, this one's a little different. I don't have a track on this one oh, I have a track, but it's not making a channel. So on this one, the dimensional is going at the top, or more, I should say, to the top. And the white linen or white baker's twine is going to kind of nestle over some of them, but not all of them. So like that. Okay, so far so good, guys, right? Bow maker action. So we got a triple bow we need to make. So white. So I got another replenishment of bow makers, you guys. I went down to my last one on Friday, and now I got 35 more. The price has gone up. My supplier is a dollar more, but they're still only $8, which is a good deal for an awesome bow maker to help you make bows. So just know if you're in the market for a bow maker, I can help you out with that. So I wrap that around 3 times and make a little knot, do a little dance, get down tonight. So this will get adhered on with a glue dot to the left-hand side, kind of where the ribbon meets. Just like that. Cool beans and bagels. Okay, you guys, I'm not gonna chitty-chat. I'm gonna roll right into the next one because I don't want to lose my phone. We have to do a random number generator tonight, and I need my phone for that. So I'm gonna cut him a little shorter and a little shorter. We'll do the gems later. Shout out for the yeah, Kay says the bow maker is awesome. All right, you guys, there's this one right here. Okay, so that's our 3rd card. The last one is, so I love this navy one a lot too, right? Not gonna say it's not my favorite, but I love this card because this last one is so unique because of the braiding. So easy peasy, you guys, for this one. So fold this in half, burnish it with the bone folder, and we get glue happy. So let's glue, we gotta stamp a little, hang on. So we're gonna stamp this and this first. So we need the Mary Merlot ink and espresso. So friendship refreshes the soul, and we have a tree on the inside. So let's do that. I know, Patsy, we're doing all the bling at the end. So I dropped this on the floor. My bling looks like this, and I don't wanna bling up something and then not have enough. So I was gonna bling up all 4 of my cards at the same time at the end. So we'll bling it just one moment in time. So friendships refresh the soul. We'll go right there. And our inside has a tree. Okay, it's got tree and green. So we gotta grab it from the back here because I had cleaned it. And, oh yeah, no problem. I hope you're feeling better. All right, so espresso me happy. And, but wait, this one uses two-tone for the tree here. So we're gonna do the detail first because that's what I just inked up. We're gonna put the detail, this is our fall tree card. So we're gonna do the Mary Merlot. That ink pad does need to get re-inked. So it's a little bit lighter than normal. We're gonna do a Mossy Meadow there. And then we'll do our tree here, like that. Okay. If you have your little grassy hill, that can go right there. So I think that's it for stamping. You guys, this card, there's really not a lot of stamping. If you don't have the tree bundle and you got the kit from me, you could stamp anything you really wanted on the inside and any sentiment on the outside. So let's do a little bit of gluing. So this can flip over, this can flip over, and this. So let's do those 3 things. And then in a second, we're gonna do the braiding, which is super cool. I hadn't braided for a while. I used to make friendship bracelets all the time when I was in like grade school. So there's that. This is for our inside, like that. Hi, Kathy Jackson from Iola, Wisconsin. And then this one goes on here. So that's just a Mary Merlot mat for it. Then this will get glued. And so this little piece here that you guys got in your kit is also embossed with the bark embossing folder. Sometimes you got to get those little snaggle tooths off the side. All right, so then this guy and that one, liquid glue. Make sure you check out the pattern. If you like it a certain way, make sure you get it the right way if you want it a certain way. And that's gonna go here. And then that one, something about there. Okay, so for the linen, see, I told you guys I was gonna call it linen thread. For the baker's twine, I put 16 inches each times, times 2. I may have put only times 1. So when we first did this, I gotta grab this daddy ruler here. So when we first did this one, doing 1 set did not make it, so doing 2 actually made it a little bit thicker of a braid. So I actually have, let's say 32 inches, right? So you guys saw what I just did there? I cut 2 of the crumb cake, and then there's vanilla. So we need 2 of this one, and they're about 16 inches. So in the PDF, you guys, I wrote just 16. I did not write 32, but I see now on my notes, it was 16 inches times 2. We used the gray one here. So I will actually update that because it does look nice with a little bit fuller of a braid. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. So got about what we need. And I am going to, so I'm like, how do I do this with one person? So what was great is with Carissa, she held it the end, you know, like, so it always works easier if you have 2 people. But what we're gonna do is use my reverse tweezers. So I'm gonna get my loops here pretty even Steven, and I'm leaving the loop on the one end here. So if you guys, on here you can see this side is looped and that's rough, like that's cut. It's okay if both of them are cut. That would not be a problem. But I'm trying to get them so they're about even, right? So something like that looks good. Okay, so I am going to grab my reverse tweezers because I wondered about this, how I'm gonna do this in my head, not having somebody to help me. And I am going to try to do that, you guys. Really, if you have a buddy at home that can help you with this, that would be outstanding. So you put yours under the laptop to hold it. That's perfect. That works. I'm gonna get, so if you only did one string, that's fine, but I have two. So what I wanna do is get my two colors together. So you guys, you're gonna have to watch me braid this. I promise you, this is really happening. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you braid. If you don't know how to braid, I don't know if I can teach you how. Just watch my fingers. But the thing is, you have to pull these out as you keep braiding, because otherwise you're going to get yourself tangled up in a mess, the tangled mess right at the back end here. So you can see as I'm doing this, can you, oh yeah, Deb Norman, you're a rock star. Look at you, yeah. Now we're gonna, this means business now. Yeah, you guys, Deb Norman, tip of the day. Tape your end of your, look at this, see? Now you can braid like a rock star. Okay, so I don't know how you guys braid at home, but this is how I do it, and all I can say is watch my fingers. I use my middle fingers to grab from the other side, and every couple loops, I pull it out so that it doesn't get back and this gnarly rat's nest back here, okay? So Linda Rios, grab some Scotch tape. Don't ask the cat. The cat will probably make it worse and get cat saliva all over it, and then it'll not be so cool. So you guys are I'm gonna start to go off the camera though, so just know that I'm doing the exact same thing that I was just doing. So taping it is the perfect thing to do. And honestly, you can make a little looser, you can make a little tighter, but that's all, you guys, it's going off the edge of the table here. So, and I'm gonna go all the way to the end. And as you get to the end, you don't have to worry about untangling the back end so much. So thanks for sharing, Christina. Just got on here, but can't make the cards till I'm back from vacation. Yes, but at least you can watch so you know what to do when you get home. You guys, I'm still just braiding, I promise you. That's all I'm doing. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm earning a nice, tasty beverage tonight. But Deb, you get the tip of the day. Tape the end of it. So, you guys, as I get to the end here, I ran out of twine. So all I'm going to do is take this. I'm going to make a bigger loop, but I promise I'm not going to tie it way back there. I'm just making it big enough so that I can get the end here to get all of those through here. And then I'm going to pull this all the way to the very, very end, so I have as much of the braid as possible. Okay, so you guys want to know why we did this card the way we did? Just FYI, insider information here. I saw this card right here, and I absolutely loved it. You guys, can you tell? We just cased this card right here. But we made it our own by changing the designer paper. So, all right, taping was phenomenal. And the other thing, though, you have to do is you have to, I should have done this in the beginning, but you have to make that little knot at the beginning of time here as well so that you don't lose your braid. So I just made myself that little knot up there. It would have been good to do that. Kay just poured some wine. I didn't cut 24. I took out my ruler, just Luann Johnson, just so you know. I took out my 15-inch ruler and I cut up to here, which was 16, and I brought it back. So I said 16 and I said to double it, so it should be 32. I didn't cut 24, I cut 32, and I cut 32 of each of the colors. And for those that got the PDF for me, just know I will update the instruction on the PDF. On the PDF, I wrote 16 inches of each twine, but it should have been technically 32 inches of each twine, not 24, you guys. So don't look at the 24 that Luann wrote. I promise you it's not 24. I cut 32. So what I'm going to do here is I just want to make sure you guys got the correct numbers, okay? And honestly, when Chris and I did this, I'll show you, I actually didn't have enough. I think I had to look at my back of mine. The first time I did it, I didn't have enough. So I actually had to cut mine apart in the middle and spread it out to make it big enough. Otherwise, it wasn't big enough. And so look at, I have an end here and I had to add a little tail. So if you don't cut yourself enough twine to begin with, just cut more twine and braid another section and ad hoc it. You would never have known that I didn't have enough twine on there until you saw I went and showed you underneath my dress right there. So, all right, so now what I'm gonna do is bring this one end out at a diagonal like this, and I'm gonna loop this over here like that, and bring this guy up and loop him like that. And now I have enough. I have more than enough. Now, here's the thing, you guys. I have way too much, right? So 32 inches is maybe not the magic number either, but no worries. You're just going to ball up the extra that you have behind here, and you're going to just make the tail as long as you want it. And then when it all is said and done, and you have this how you want it, you're just going to put tear and tape back over the top of this to help secure it in place. All right, so it looks not so good back here. I promise it doesn't look good, but it's okay because what you're gonna do is put dimensionals. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the middle here with height. Don't worry about that. All of this will stick very nicely once we get our dimensionals on here. So, all right, so you guys, going back to the length of the ribbon, if you end up with your braid too short, you can braid yourself another section and add it to the back there. And if you end up with too long, bumble it up back there and get your ends to be exactly where you want them to be. And then that will go right on our front like that. And I do see that I cut, I cut my Mary Merlot at a diagonal so slightly. So I'm gonna fix that really quick, and that looks a little bit more proportioned. Good. So, all right, now, without further ado, Patsy was anxious for me to do the gems, and I was too. And so, Patsy, we're gonna do that for you, you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna get to do the random number generator live with you. My phone just said 5%. And so what's gonna happen is my phone's gonna die and I won't be able to do random number generator. And so what I might do is come back live tomorrow. This, like, I'm not gonna end the presentation. I can watch your comments up here in my screen, but my phone is gonna be dead to do the random number generator. So I will announce though who won the cards here from this class. I'll do that though. I'm not gonna forget to do these. So this was from there. So let's pull these out. So, because we're excited to do some gems, and we're gonna pull out all the cards here so we can see them all in action. And we're gonna grab the last one right here. So, and then you guys can tell me which is your favorite. Arliss, nice. Just do the random number. Oh, you're so smart, you guys. We're gonna do this really quick. Ha ha ha. Patsy's like, let's just do the random number generator. Smart idea. Okay, we can do it. So 47 people here. And I'm gonna hit, you guys can't see my phone, it's so dark, it's at 5%. So I'm gonna hit generate. 28. All right, let's see who 28 is, and grab a pen so I can mark it. Patsy, what? You're so funny, you must have willed that to happen. It says 28, it's hard to read it, but it says 28. Patsy Roberts, you're 28. You are funny. You're like, just do the random number generator now while your phone is still alive, and then you win. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, sorry, that just like was like, how did that just happen? All right, I see you guys are loving the cards. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, so that phone's gonna die. We're done with the random number generator. Everything else I can manage from here. So you guys have a whole pack of rhinestones, and I have some hodgepodgey ones. So I'm gonna grab the blue for here. You guys go crazy on your gems because you have a full pack, right? So on these cards, I don't just keep it to like 3. I go crazy. I'm gonna use so I've got, what do I got here? We're gonna use a big one over here. So I stuck with the blue on, you guys get to see me manage this. Stuck with the blue over here on that one, but there's also some ice blue ones. Some like blue, like soft blue. So that looks pretty on here. And that's there. So I think that's it for the blue. The red, so there's some red ones. I got a red over here. Oh, I just flipped it around. So you guys are really liking the blue one. That's awesome. Yeah, Patsy, you won something. You're funny. You gotta go back and watch the replay now. I'm gonna make you watch the replay to find out what you won. You're funny. All right. So so what I'm really trying to do is use up this little sheet here. So we're gonna grab that red one here, mix in some green. So there's no green left there. Let's get this out of the way. We're gonna grab green from here. So the green and the reds look really pretty on this card. So let's grab a big, and there's different sizes, right? So there's big, there's small, and there's medium. Okay, so we got that one done. Grab a big green one for over here. We pulled in some of the ice blue ones on this card too because it kind of looked pretty with it. So there's that. And then green over here on the ends of that little label. I think I've got, oh, see, I don't have much left over here. So we're going to do this one over here. And I don't have any. Okay, we're going to put the medium ones. I don't know if the mediums will be too big, but we're going to find out. Oh, yeah, that's too big. So, see, here's the thing. I don't have any little greenies. I have one and I needed 2. Did I use the small one? Hang on. We can see this is why we're going to make this work. We're going to take the little green one from over there. And then I have one last one here. And then we're going to put a bigger green one over there. See, that's why I wanted to wait till the end because I knew I was going to struggle with the embellishments because I don't have everything left. So then over here, we've got some Goldilocks ones. So there's a nice gold one there. We'll put one over here, a medium green one right there. See, I don't have any little yellow green ones. Ah ha ha, I said that wrong. I don't have any little green ones, but we can put a little yellow one there instead and grab another green one. And then up there, oh man, we're gonna use this other green one right here. That might be too big even. So, but maybe, oh, you know what? We can switch things around. So we'll put that one there. See, this is fun. So when my mom and I work on swap cards, she does all the embellishing. I have her put rhinestones on. I have her Stella things up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is good for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is good. And see, I was so desperately trying to use up that one little sheet, but it didn't work so well. But we still managed to make this work. So voila, you guys, as Kelly would say. Look at our cards are done. The ink, paper, scissors featuring the, I'm gonna hold this one here, Beauty of Friendship. So I think you guys, I see a lot of you coming in and saying that the blue one is your favorite. Cannot wait to make mine. I know, Linda, I'll show you the swap cards. I didn't forget. Hi, Faye Gabby from Virginia. Woohoo, glad you made it. All right, so there we've got our nice conglomeration. Good show, hoorah, rah. Yeah, right, Linda? I love it. You guys, I was so excited to make these with you. They were so fun. So, all right, let me go grab my swap cards really quick. I got 2 of them here. So, these are going to be upcoming class cards. So whenever I make swap cards, you guys, I have double purpose. So there's swap cards and class cards. So this is way out in the future. You guys, this is July monthly card class, okay? So this is one of my swap cards that's also going to dual purpose. Carol Mills, I have a customer swap group that I do. And I'm going to actually go live either tomorrow or Monday and show all the swap cards for this month. It's called Cards by Christine Customer Swap Group, okay? So we gotta make sure that you're friends with me on Facebook, and then I can add you to it. So this one says a card to say hello, and then we've got some little flowers on the inside. So there's one. And then this one, you guys, the Brood. Tyler loved this card because it's all about the beer, right? And the wine. And so I owe you one or several. So this is also one of my swap cards, but it is going to be a July monthly card. So Carissa, yay, you're easy to do with an inner. Oh no, I hope you feel better, Carissa. Oh, Luann likes the braided trim the best. Awesome. So these, you guys, are what I was working on today with Mom. Plus, we got everything kitted up for the May monthly class and the Let's Just Stamp class. And then, you guys, so we got Patsy won the door prize for tonight. We just did that drawing. I have these that I'm going to do drum roll. All right. This was the easel card. Wait. Let's see here. I have the names drawn, and we gotta just make sure I had them. There we go. So, da-da-da. All right, this one goes, it's the easel card, goes to Judy Bobo. Woohoo, Judy Bobo. This one, da-da-da. Oh, you guys, it died officially. So now I gotta get the rice out. All right, Sandy Wicklander, you got the balmy day, the beachy kind of day. And da-da-da, the Ladybug Love card here. You can bug me anytime. Linda Keister. Linda, it's Koester. I know you've been commenting quite a bit. Your name got drawn. If it's Keister or Kester, one of them. So yay. So Sandy and Judy, I have your addresses, so I know where to send these two awesome cards to. But Linda, I also have a caddy. You were on the waiting list to get a caddy from January. And so we need to connect if you want that caddy also. So yay. These are the cards, you guys, that 4 people will win next time, sometime. I also have from the class last week that'll be given out at the next class. So I always keep these right here by me until we have the drawings. So, woo, you guys, I think we did it, except for my phone didn't make it all the way to the end. So I started at 65%. So I know that I need to be higher than 65 when I start a class, and then life will be good. So I made it right till the bitter end though. So what did I forget? I'm not quite sure. I knew at the end I was starting to go a little bit faster to make sure my phone would make it. So hopefully you guys weren't rushed at all. Just know that if you didn't get your cards made, don't ever feel like you have to keep up to me. A lot of people, so if you're new and you haven't taken a class with me and might be your first one, or you've just recently taken one with me, just know you don't have to keep up with me. You always have the replay available. You have the PDF tutorial available. And after I'm done with the live and you guys want to go back and watch the replay, you can always start and stop me. That's what the replay is awesome for. A lot of people watch the first time while I'm live so that you can ask questions or comment or make sure you have the clarification that you need, and then they'll go back and put the cards together later. So it's whatever works best for you. So I really thoroughly enjoyed this class. I was loving the trees, even when that one turned out pink a little bit. It's all good. So I'm happy that you guys like them as well. Drunk and hungover at the same time if I'm not laying down. No, that's not good, Carissa. You need to get your butt in gear and get better, because you're going to hopefully be here on Saturday for the MS benefit, you guys. We officially sold out for the MS benefit. We made 44 sets of cards, and there are 44 people signed up. So we are excited. So Deb, something stupid. I literally, on the way from walking over to the house, from the house over to the hive for class at 10 to 6, my phone was in my pocket upside down. You guys, I've learned this just now. You should never carry your phone with the bottom end up ever. Because what happened is my water splashed out, went down my side of my body, and it must have went into my charging port. And I got water in the charging port, and now it's saying that do not connect my charger because the charging port is wet inside. So yeah, I'm going to try the whole bag of rice thing. And if I would have had my phone flipped that the bottom was the other way, it wouldn't have happened. But your instinct is you're holding your phone and you put it down, the bottom end is up. So that's what happened, Deb. So yes. Yes, so Carissa, I hope you feel better. Do what you need to do, and if for any reason you can't make it on Saturday, you just let me know. So no worries. Yeah, all right, we did good. We did good. So I'm happy. I feel good about this class, you guys. You washed your work phone in the washer on Monday. Oh my gosh, Tracy. So does that mean it doesn't work? I'm wondering if it's pretty much done after you wash it in the washer. Oh no, not good. Well, I'm hopeful that I took the heat tool, you guys. I actually went over, my heat gun is plugged in. I took the heat tool and I was trying to just kind of help it dry out faster. So I'm wondering if my charger has a little bit in it. So wow, Tracy, your phone still worked. Well, you know, the way that they designed phones, that they're supposed to be able to be on some phones, not all of them. Don't go try this at home, anybody. But from what I understand, certain phones are waterproof and you can put them under a certain amount of water and they still will work. So yay to that. I have a wireless docking charger type thing, so it doesn't plug in. I have to go find it now because I bought it many months ago, last summer sometime when I was having trouble. So yeah, so you guys know that's what I'm going to work on right now, is get my phone charged and get it back to life. So, all right, you guys. So I was going to tell you, I got all the swap cards in for the customer swap, and I will be doing a live of those swap cards. If I can sneak it in tomorrow, I will. Otherwise, it will be Monday. But I will do an impromptu, ad hoc, fly by the seat of my pants live, just showcasing those swap cards. If you guys aren't catching me live, you can always get the replay. And then Saturday is the MS benefit. So stay tuned. I will be going live on Saturday morning at some point because Bonnie got 18, I think around 18 raffle baskets together. And if you're not local and you'd still like to support the MS card making benefit by buying raffle tickets, you can get in on that. And it might be best not to pick like the biggest, hugest, like most monstrosity of baskets because we're gonna have to figure out shipping then. But I know like Jean Maxwell won the Norwex prize last time and it was really easy. I could just fit it in with a package, a small package, and it worked out good. So, and I know that Kay Warren, you won a card class. Feline, you won the card, you know, so if there's things you wanna get in on, we can make it happen. So I'm usually really good at helping make whatever happen for anybody that they want. So, all right, you guys, enjoy your weekends as well. And lots of sunshine, love, and hugs to you. And we'll catch you at some point in the next probably 24 to 48 hours. Love you long time. Bye, guys.